Hi, MoCo Millennial's back, and I have someone who's not so much older than me. I'm here with Brian Crider. I'm actually over in Aspen Hill because more changes of scenery. I know how much you all like the inside of my living room, but it's always good to mix it up. You know, you got a daytime interview, you got some loud noise at Denizens, and now I'm over in Aspen Hill hanging out with Brian Crider and his dog.
Wiki?
What is his name?
Wiki. After Wikipedia.
Oh, that's epic. Oh my god, you win the millennial vote already because we get everything from Wikipedia. So yeah, he is running for delegate in District 19, which has some people much older than us.
Yep.
Living in Leisure World.
Yes, Leisure World, the largest retirement community in Maryland.
Yes, we're all headed. We're lucky if we make it through 2018, right? Okay, so I have him on here because I know him pretty well from groups like Progressive Maryland, MoCo Young Guns. We interact a lot. I know his wife. They're cool people, but I also just like to interview people running for office and doing interesting things. You don't have to be my friend to be on the show. Robin Ficker, I still want you to come on. And so, one thing that we have recurring, there is a topic that always seems to come up whenever we interact. What is that topic? What do we always talk about?
Cars and traffic.
Cars and traffic. So we're going to start off in the first segment talking about transportation issues.
Yep.
First of all, you own a lot of cars.
Yes, I do.
What's your favorite car?
Well, I always say you have to have the right car for the right environment. So, in the snow, the truck is the best. Mm-hmm. Daily driving, I use my Buick. Mm-hmm. And for a fun time out, you'll use one of the classic cars. Just to putz around town or go to a show.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And then your wife has her own, right?
So her favorite is the motorcycle. She loves to get on the motorcycle and go on a beautiful day. She's much braver than I am, especially with traffic around here.
Yeah, I was just on Georgia Avenue.
I'm sorry.
Actually, it was fine.
Really? Congratulations.
I guess I was going the other way.
But yeah, the traffic around here, she loves the motorcycle. She gets this itch, she calls it, to go out and ride, especially on the first spring day. Nice, beautiful weather. And she's like, I want to go somewhere. And I'm like, I'm not going with you on the back of the motorcycle.
Yeah, I mean, you could take, like, Sligo Creek Parkway. That's pretty calm.
Yeah, there's
or
also...
like, you know, just not these main roads here.
Yes.
Not the highway.
She commutes on 198, which is an interesting road. Mm-hmm. One lane each direction, up to 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour if you're speeding, normally.
Oh, okay.
And she's done the ICC once. She said that was scary.
I can say I've never driven on the ICC.
Really?
Yeah, no.
The ICC is the only road that gets plowed in the snowstorm. So...
Yeah, there was a time when people were cross-country skiing on the Capitol Beltway.
Wow.
You didn't hear that story? Yeah, the blizzard of 2016. They were... some people took out some skis and they were on the Beltway. Wow.
So the only time I've taken the ICC is on snow days because my office has a never shut down policy.
Well, okay.
And in order to get to my office, I have the option of 198 and 28 or the ICC. Well, 198 and 28 ain't getting plowed anytime soon, so it was the ICC up to 29.
Oh boy. So all these roads are going to become relevant pretty soon in the discussion.
Yep.
So yeah, whenever we meet up, we always end up talking about traffic and cars. And this, in my introductory videos, if any of you all saw it, I kind of made this monologue about the Capitol Beltway. The arc of the Beltway bends towards traffic.
Yes.
But you do end up getting where you need to go. It just might not be on time. But today I actually went to work really early. I went in, I got there at like 7:15. Mm-hmm. There was no traffic, not even around Silver Spring. It was amazing. Like, I was going 60 the whole way.
Nice.
There was no traffic, and there were no assholes. Not a single one.
And you were driving in Maryland?
I was driving in Maryland. It was a different story a few weeks ago when I described it as the Olympics of bad driving.
Ah, yes. My personal best on the Beltway, I was coming back from my parents at 2 in the morning, and they had shut down three lanes out of the 4. I was in a 45-minute traffic jam at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Why?
Because they were doing road construction.
Oh.
So, what you might not know is the Capitol Beltway is crumbling underneath.
I do know that. And
so what happens is there's currently 2 road crews that work at the opposite ends of the Beltway, and they constantly repave it now. So as time goes on, there's going to need to be 3 and then 4 crews doing nothing but repaving the Beltway to keep it going.
Oh God, I hope they don't do that at the same time as the Red Line Safe Track shut down in the summer.
Hopefully not.
Because that's going to be a thing. They're closing Rhode Island Avenue because there's a platform issue. So that means that everywhere north of that, because there's going to be like that bus that takes from one to the other.
Yeah.
Basically, don't from Silver Spring to DC. Forget it. Forget it. Drive or bike to Hyattsville and take the Green Line. Which I don't know. Yeah. So Maryland is known for its
traffic,
traffic, and its courteous
drivers.
People. Yeah, no. The Olympics of bad driving I described as everyone living up to their state stereotype.
Yes.
I will describe briefly for you. I was on the Beltway going 495 towards Northern Virginia. There was a Virginia driver in the left lane going 45. No reason to go 45, just felt like it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There was a DC plate that was in the left lane and then decided, I want to get on 270.
Shoot right on over, ignore everybody, and if they don't get out of the way, well, they can get out of the way, and I'm still going.
Yeah, and there were at least 3 Maryland drivers that would weave, do the typical thing, and they don't put on their turn signal, they just kind of go. And then another Maryland driver, I assume it was Maryland, behind me, getting pissed at me for slowing down as I'm being cut off by other Maryland drivers. Yeah. So that's why I call it it's the Olympics of bad driving.
Oh, yeah.
I was cursing, but I think I was doing okay. So, yeah. This place is traffic.
Yes. Well, at least the DC area is nothing but traffic.
The DC area has traffic. No traffic in Baltimore, of course.
Have you been in Baltimore?
Yeah, no.
At least our roads are paved better.
Yeah.
I've driven around Baltimore a little bit, and then the potholes that can eat my car.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, this area is nothing but traffic, and unfortunately, it's not getting any better anytime soon, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. So before we make this political, just out of curiosity, to your day job, how do you get there?
So I go from 28 to 198, up 29 to basically the corner of 32 and 29, right next to the NSA Annex. Okay. If people know where that is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's proposed one of the BRT routes.
Yeah, the BRT they're going to do on 29.
Yeah, that would be good.
So the idea is that they're going to repurpose the shoulder during BRT hours, and they're going to have the buses flying up and down the shoulder and dropping people off.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that goes through. But before we get to that, let's talk about some of the ideas that have been proposed. I mean, it seems to be one of the political footballs is, I want to widen I-270. And the counter argument being, if you do that, if you add a lane, you're going to, cause traffic in the interim because of construction and encourage more people to drive.
So there's 2 parts. You're right. You're going to increase traffic while you're doing the construction, and what's called is induced demand. So what happens is that people say, look, the road is wider, so now we can go this way easier. And then LA has a huge problem with this. They have 8-lane highways in each direction, and I've been on that road. It is incredibly large to see 16 lanes across, and it's still jammed. It's amazing. There are more people, and so it's true. It does create more demand because more people go to that road. Plus, the other thing is that it increases the congestion further out because people will live further out.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go further out. So there is, because I've driven 270 all the way up to Frederick, and people actually now live in Pennsylvania, and they commute down 270 and 15 all the way into DC every day, and they commute all the way out.
Oh God!
So the two big bottlenecks in that area are right past exit, I'm going to say 16. We drop a lane, or we go down to 2 lanes. And then for some reason on I-270, or not I-270, on I-70 when it switches from 270 to 15, there's always a bottleneck there as well. And it is trafficy all the way up there. So the proposal that a lot of people have wanted is to expand 270 from that point all the way up to Route 15 and I-70, because that's where it branches out. That way you don't have the bottleneck there. The other one proposal is Hogan's, who wants to add 2 lanes in each direction. And he wants to expand it out and but those additional 2 lanes in each direction are going to be toll roads, because he's looking at a private-public partnership because he doesn't want to pay for it up front. So then we'll be tolled every time we go to use it.
I thought Hogan's whole shtick was reducing tolls and fees.
So he did reduce the tolls. He reduced the tolls on the Bay Bridge, and he reduced the tolls on the ICC. But reducing tolls and not having tolls are completely different. So this is the same proposal for 495, the expansion. They want to do 2 lanes there. They want to do 2 lanes in each direction on 270 and 2 more additional lanes, I believe it is, on 295 up to Baltimore. And they're all going to be toll lanes. They're all going to be expressways. This system is modeled after the Virginia system. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Virginia has 2 high-speed toll lanes on the 495, but it goes with induced demand. So what happens is, as more traffic on the 3 lanes, the price of the toll lanes goes up. There was a recent thing that...
It was like $48.
Yeah, it was like $40, $50 to go on this road. And I forget how many miles they did and how many people did it, but it was a complete traffic jam on 495.
Yeah, but $48 to sit in traffic.
Well, no. It was $48 to get into the express lane so you can go where you want.
Oh, okay.
Everybody else was stuck in traffic.
Yeah. So are those what people describe as the Lexus lanes? Or
yes, they're the Lexus lanes.
That's what that is. Oh, God.
So this goes... so I work in... One of my contracts is actually in Texas. And Texas has done this a lot. They said, we wanted to stop paying for roads. So what they do is they go out to the private industry and they say, you can build the road and toll it, and that's how you get paid back. And so in Texas, it's very hard to avoid toll roads. Even when you set your navigation to it, you'll end up going in some really weird places and weird directions because everything else is a toll road. And is that what we want for Maryland? We want, everybody to have an easy pass, and to get where you're going, you just calculate the tolls instead of the gas. I mean, that's not good.
No, it's not good. So going back to this concept of, let's just add more lanes. I'm no transportation expert, but it seems like the induced demand, as you say, is just kind of, at best, make it a wash in a few years. At worst, make more traffic while they're constructing it, and then have it get no better. So I mean, is that your take? Do you personally have a solution to 270? Because I've driven, I work in Virginia. I go there early enough so I can take the Beltway to work. But when I leave at 4. I go through DC. I go Nebraska Avenue.
Right.
And it usually it takes much less than it would be to go north on 495 because until you get past 270, you're just sitting there. Yep. So, I mean, do you have a solution for 270? So, is there any way to fix it?
I do think there's a way to fix it. I think the expanding on where we have the bottlenecks where we're dropping lanes all the way up to Frederick would actually help some, because you're not creating a bottleneck. It's just a straight through. The other one I think is we need to expand Metro past Shady Grove up 270. Nice. Or expand the markup there and have it run more regularly.
Yes.
Because people like the trains. People want to take the trains. The other problem I have is the cost of Metro is outrageous.
It's like $6 to get in from from the end to DC. It's like $6.
So, my neighbor who works in downtown DC, she lives right next door to me. She goes to Glenmont every day. She takes the train into DC and takes the train back and goes home. She said it's $17 a day.
Oh my God.
$17 a day to take the Metro 2 ways and to park.
And you're probably...
She said...
And the Metro might be on fire at some point. It's the red line.
The parking garage is only $20 a day. $3 different. That's not... So I'm not really saving money. I'm not saving a lot of time. And I'm... You know, the Metro, I'll say, is dirtier than my car. But, I mean, we need to encourage mass transit. We need to encourage trains. So what we need to do is expand the MARC. We need to expand the Metro up to where the people are, which is all the way up in Frederick. We need to look at where our people are commuting from and then make sure we have the mass transit there. And if we do that, and we also get rid of the parking garage fees, because that's what's the killer, is currently $5.25 to park at Glenmont per day. And I don't remember what it was. It used to be $4 a day at Shady Grove when I was parking at Shady Grove. But I mean, those are outrageous prices. If it's the same price to drive into DC as it is to take the Metro, people are going to drive in, which is not increasing our demand. Or
it's really not kind of helping anyone, because I mean, you want to, if the idea is to discourage driving by charging for parking, then you should have Metro further out. If the idea is to just charge you more, then you're gonna, well, I might as well just take my car all the way into DC. Right. And then you get to pick your poison. Are you gonna drive in DC, or are you gonna sit on the Metro where it might break down and catch on fire?
Yes, and the Metro is aware of their problems too. The big issue in Metro is they don't have dedicated funding, so they can't use the bond market. And because they can't use the bond market, they can't get the necessary funds to improve it. You have to realize the Metro system's over 30 years old at this point. You know, it's not.
It's 40 years old.
Is it 40 now?
Yeah, it's as old as my sister. That's old. I love you.
I'm about to say, did your sister watch? Because I can see, you know.
She lives in England. Slight digression. She lives in England, and I sent my nephew some Old Bay. But they have some kind of cookie called, like, Mary's Land. And then my sister says, "Oh, your aunt lives there." I don't know. Whatever.
Good to know.
Digression. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, because digressions are fun. So I did not want to make this about the Purple Line, but we can't talk about transportation and not mention the Purple Line. And I mean, there's this, you know, as everyone watching probably knows, it connects New Carrollton to Bethesda, benefits Prince George's, Montgomery, getting back and forth, bringing people to their jobs, blah blah blah. Downsides, I'm gonna talk with someone else about that when we actually make it about the Purple Line, but you know, you're aware of the fact that there's controversy and that it's a thing and that it's been taking decades. Also the BRT. The
BRT is one of the more interesting projects.
Okay, we can talk about that. So
the BRT, for you guys, is Bus Rapid Transit. There's been 3 proposed routes mainly. The Georgia Avenue, Colesville Road, and 355, which is Rockville Pike, Frederick Pike, and...
Wisconsin Avenue.
Is it Wisconsin Avenue down in Bethesda? Okay.
Yeah, like, I guess it wouldn't go into DC, but I don't know, wherever you started.
So, it's called Bus Rapid Transit, and what that is the buses are supposed to run, I think, every 20 minutes. They're supposed to be very regular, on time, and they're supposed to actually be faster than the cars. So...
and they get their own lane, so they're not...
So that's the interesting part. Okay, so Bus Rapid Transit, to work well and work effectively, it needs its own lane. In Colesville Road, you can do that. They're going to take out the shoulder, They're going to turn it into a bus lane so the buses can go up and down the lane. Plus, it also helps that really for what they're trying to do, they only need single direction. In the mornings, they need to go south, and in the afternoons, they need to go north, because we have commuting patterns like that. We all go into DC, we all come out of DC. But like I said, the big thing is Colesville Road has the area, we'll call it, to do this. Georgia Avenue, not so much. 355, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, I was just on Georgia Avenue. So where would it go? So
up northern parts, like by Aspen Hill area, we actually have room for adding another lane. When you get down into Wheaton, Silver Spring, in between, there's not room. And so they're hoping that that's not going to slow it down as much. But I don't think that's going to help. I think it's still going to be slower than cars on Georgia Avenue without its own lane.
Okay. So it would have to be within the traffic.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons they're starting on Colesville Road, because they want to prove the concept with all the technology, its own lane. They're also putting traffic signal priority on it, so the bus can hold the light or can shorten the light depending on the traffic controllers. Some people know that, some people don't. So it's got a lot of this technology built around it. It has monitoring, tracking, so they can know if the buses are running on time. But like I said, it's the dedicated lane that I think is the biggest hiccup, and that's the one thing that it really needs. Because if we want to get people out of their cars, we need to make it cheap, and we need to make it fast.
Yes.
And
reliable and safe.
Yes.
Presumably. What about the issue of demand? Because another criticism, and I personally disagree with this criticism, but one thing I've heard about the BRT, and to a certain extent the Purple Line, is there a demand for riding a bus? I mean, people that live north and commute into DC, because this is kind of where this whole argument breaks down. But the argument basically being, people don't really want to ride a bus. They'd rather drive their own vehicle or take something else.
There is a stigma about riding a bus.
Exactly. And
a lot of people say, I don't want to ride the bus. And it's true. But as a guy who has a lot of cars, if the bus is faster and it's cheaper and it goes where I need to go, I'll take the bus.
Because you can zone out and just read or something.
But it's the time. It's the biggest thing for me, you know? It's like I want to get to where I'm going. And yes, I love driving. But if you want me out of my car, get me there faster.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And we all, if anybody who's ever ridden the bus knows, it takes a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on where you're going, if it's not on the direct route. The other part is, which is really nice about the bus rapid transit, is actually going to go all the way up to Burtonsville.
Oh.
Which does not see a lot of county buses.
Which many people don't even know where it is.
Or that's even in the county.
So I know it's in the county, but I never go there.
I go there every day. But yeah, I mean, so it's a very different area of the county. You don't think about it. It's not Tacoma Park. It's not that's downtown Bethesda, downtown Silver Spring, or it's not even as developed as the 270 corridor, you know? So it's this untapped area of the county, I'll call it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to close out this segment, I just have to say, you know, transportation is a way to obviously decrease your carbon footprint or dirty energy use, and we're going to talk about that in a second segment. But also, reliable transportation is so much better for your stress level. I mean, I like driving too, for the most part. I like my 12-year-old Corolla.
Yep.
And I like how obnoxiously Maryland the back of my car is. That sometimes you just want to zone out, and sometimes you want to like multitask. Because in the days when I take the metro, I'll work on a blog, or I'll be writing something or doing something using that time. You know, can't speak for other people, but I don't actually multitask when I'm behind the wheel. I'm sure other people do, but I don't do that.
I'm going to have to plead the fifth.
It's okay. I've seen worse. I've seen some crazy shit.
I do not text. I do not play
it's
with
not
my
texting,
phone.
but I've seen some like real interesting multitasking, like a whole, not just putting on lipstick, but like actually doing a whole makeover.
Oh yes, we've all seen that.
Yeah, or like
that's a Maryland thing too.
Not just eating a sandwich, but like making a sandwich. It gives a whole nother meaning to "bitch, make me a sandwich" on the Capitol Beltway. Okay, so obviously, as people who drive and people who also try to take transit, my point of this is just be like, I like to take the metro when it's not single tracking or on fire or otherwise delayed for no conceivable reason. It's just, sometimes you just want to get to work and kind of like back in Harry Potter, apparate, just kind of
just disappear and get there.
Those days may come, who knows. But for now, it takes some creative solutions, because not everyone's going to give up their car, but some people are just looking for whatever's the cheapest, fastest, most efficient, and stress-free way. And we've got a lot of work to do.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to take a break, and in a second section, we're going to talk about energy use and clean energy and reducing dirty energy. So stay tuned for part 2.